going to show you how to set up a daily management report, or what would be known as a goal setting program as well. First thing that you'd want to do is log in. And we're going to go to administration and manage users. To be able to use or have each person from the company in the daily management report, everybody would need to be in here. So if you're going to do goal setting for sales, all salespeople need to be in. If you're going to do goals for or want your installers or call center reps, service technicians, whatever position they're in, if you want them to be on the report and track their performance and the numbers that they're doing, they all need to be added in as a user. So when we set up a user, let's say we're going to set up a sales rep. So what we're going to do is select the role, and you can add as many roles as you want, but just know that if you put them in sales and service, they're going to be on both reports. So if it's something that they typically don't do those kind of calls, do not select that role. So for this person, it's just going to be a sales rep, and their primary role is to do sales. So if they are, let's say, a selling technician, for instance, and their primary role is service, you'd put do sales and service here, and you'd put primary role is service technician. And the reason that we do this is because these roles right here allow them to be able to access certain things when it comes to pricing for equipment or service repairs. The primary role is for budgeting. So if you're using it for dispatching and the calendar function where it will budget how many calls you need per day and who's available and track all that information, that's what the primary role is for. But for this situation, let's just call it a sales rep and call subtypes. This would be for a service technician or maybe even a sales rep, that if there's certain types of calls that they don't have the skill set to do. So, for a service technician, these are all the call types I have in that they're able to do air conditioner repairs. So you could select all the ones that they are able to do. For sales, you could add in things like maybe a certain sales rep doesn't have the skill set to do maybe boiler sales or geothermal sales. So you just wouldn't select those skill sets. So this is all set up in the sub call type section. So after I get done adding this individual in, I'll show you how to add and change call subtypes. We want to put their email address in. And then we're going to put in the phone number. If you do not put the phone number in, it will not save the user. It is a required field. And then this is for budgeting as well. So based on the sales, how many sales calls should this person be doing on a daily basis on average? Let's go ahead and put 2 here. And then notify before call. So this would be, there's going to be 2 notifications that will go out to this individual. One of them is going to be by text message, the other one's going to be by email. So we can pick what time frame we want to notify the individual before the call. So I'm just going to put 60 minutes in there. And notify calls needing to be dispatched. This would be for a call center rep. So if we were setting up a call center individual right here, let's see, the things that we'd select here for a call center rep, they're able to, if they can book calls, then you select add calls. If they're able to dispatch the calls as well, you go ahead and select that as well. And if you want them to have the ability to see everybody's calendar, you'd go ahead and do view calendar as well. If they are able to book calls, but they're not able to dispatch them, then you click add calls and view calendar, but you do not select dispatch. So that's typically the way that you do a call center rep. But what this means is if you have a dispatcher and they have a lot of calls that they're juggling, you would be able to select yes here, where if they forget to dispatch a call because they got busy or whatever, you could select yes here and it would notify them by email and text message letting them know that they have a call that needs to be dispatched. Then we can select the password for the individual and we would add user. So that's how we would set up a user. Now, when we go back to administration, we can go to manage dropdowns. And then over here we have call subtypes. So this is where you could add in any type of subtype that you want. So if you wanted one for sales, and let's say just geo sales, that could be a subtype that is chosen. And if we add that in there, and then a call comes in and it's a geothermal home and they want an estimate on geothermal, that sales rep would have to have this call type to be able to run that type of call. And this all goes into the smart dispatching. So if an individual doesn't have that qualification, then it's just going to show them as an ineligible representative, and it will tell you that they're ineligible because they're missing the role. You can unlock it on the smart dispatching and still give it to somebody that doesn't have the role, but it's just a program kind of designed to make it where we don't give it to somebody not thinking that they don't have the skill set to do it. So once we have our users all in that we want in the report, what we would do is we'd go to the reports button. Let me log back in here. And I'm going to show you on this account here just so you can see what it looks like when you first start up an account. So we'd click on reports and then daily management. So this would be to begin November. Once I click this, it's automatically going to throw a lot of defaults together for you. So it's going to have a bunch of defaults for sales, service, install, call center. It has plumbing on here. And you are able to go to settings up here. So let me go ahead and go back to this account. So we go to management and we have HVAC. So this is one where I already put in the budget. So this is your budgeted number here. And it's going to do the math for you on everything else. So when we go to settings, we'd go to HVAC and we can go to edit. So right here, what this is saying is budget multiplier. So if we put in the budget on that first page, this is a multiplier, meaning we're going to set a goal, and the goal is going to be 11% higher than the budget. And it's going to tell us how many sales calls, service calls, everything we need to hit our goal, not just the budget. And there's going to be automatic departments are already created. There's a sales department here, and minimum expectation is $3,000, and it's going to do the multiplication off of $3,000 per job to tell you how many sales calls you need. And then the goal is 3,500. So this is going to let you know plus or minus that dollars per lead where you're at. So these are all things that you can change for your company. And the other thing is the percentage of revenue. So this is saying that the percentage of revenue that is being sold and installed is going to be 80%. And this says it does not apply to budget because we do not count the sales into the budget. We're going to count the install in there. Otherwise, you're going to be double counting sales and install. But really, it doesn't mean anything to the budget until it's installed. So we're going to have this as no, and down lower, we're going to be able to put install as yes. It does count towards the budget. So the roles that are needed to be able to be in this department are just sales. We're going to track the sales side of it, the revenue. Here you can change some labels that are on your sheets for the DMR, which I'll show you what that looks like. Then we have service revenue here. That's going to be 20% of the revenue. And the minimum average ticket is going to be 180. That's going to determine how many service calls you need. Again, you can change this to any number you want. The goal that we're going to be shooting for is 250. The role that you need for this is to be a service technician. And then we have install down here. And then this is going to be the install average ticket to show how many installs that we need. Then we have call center down here. Not much for basic KPIs here, but these are all the goal types that are automatically pre-populated for you. So we have indoor air quality for sales, we have referrals, we have 12 plus opportunities. So this is just your replacement conversion. So this is saying that a system that is 12 years old or higher, that's what we're going to be tracking on how many of those get turned into sales calls and how many of those are getting sold. Then we have club conversion. So this is maintenance agreements being converted out of the total opportunities available. But this is your standard format. So you can add in anything that you want as another call type. So let's say that we wanted to add another one for sales. And we were to add in maybe testimonials. And we're going to do a fixed sales number. So this is going to count the total that are going to be available. We don't need to track how many are generated or track the revenue. But once we create a category like this, now we need to go down to every tech level. So there are tech, and tech level really is just the level of the individual in a department. So there's a level 1 individual, and there's a sales level 1, there's a service level 1, install level 1, and call center level 1. But there's expectations at each, and this will, based on their qualifications. So a level 1 would be pretty much somebody just starting right away. The expectations are going to be lower for that individual than what they would be for somebody that's been in the company for a long time. But let's say that this person, as a sales individual, needs to still get testimonials, and they need to get 10 for a minimum and 20 for a goal. And then when we go down the list, we need 15 and 25. And for a level 3, we would need 20 and 30. But you get to pick your goals all the way throughout this. But again, this already has it in here where the numbers are pre-formulated the way that a lot of other companies are set up. So what we would do to finish setting somebody up, I just added in an individual into sales, and that person was Jeff Johnson. So I'm going to go ahead and add that individual to a level 3 representative for sales. So this is saying that that individual minimum expectation is going to be $3,500 per lead. And the goal for the individual is going to be $3,800 per lead. And their budgeted revenue that they need to sell per month is $120,000. So that individual now will show up on this report. So I'm going to push done, and then I'm going to apply settings, and that will add that new individual in midstream into a month that's already been created. So then I'm going to go to view report, and the report overall says, and really how we'd set this up was we got working days. So you would actually click on all the working days that are available, and the 26th is a holiday. So this is showing that these are all the working days, all the ones that are dark gray. And that's going to do the math to show what we would need for sales and how to get back on track daily, how many sales calls we need daily, service calls we need daily, everything. So when we go to the sales side, we can update this report. So let's say that we have let me go back here. We have Jeff in here, and let's say he's been here a while and he's been running 10 leads. He sold 8 of them. Total revenue was $50,000, and that's going to show him at $5,000 per lead. So he is above goal, but he's still on track to be at $62,000, which is below that $120,000 expectation. So on the install side of it, we got total opportunities. That just means total jobs. So let's say they've done 20 installs. Average ticket is $10,000. Run rate's $250. So now when we go back to the report side of it for the daily management report, then that starts making these numbers look a little bit better. So daily needed is now $12,000 to finish off the month to be able to hit the goal of $277,000. So it'll break everything down for you individually, so you know what the sales revenue needs to be. You'll know how many sales calls, service revenue based on the percentages that you put in, how many service calls you need based on the minimum average ticket, how many installs you need, everything. So all that is broken down. And one of the other things that it shows you too is based on where you're at. If all of these numbers are red over here, then it's going to show you that if you are hitting your goals in all your categories, what your total revenue run rate would be. And this is saying 422, which is significantly over the goal for the month. So as long as everybody hits their KPI goals, then that's what's going to happen. But this is just your main summary page of all the performance that you need to do. And then each one of them is broken down. So we have here, this is going to be total service calls ran, number of indoor air quality jobs. That's just if you can change this name to anything you want if you want to track something else. But let's say out of the 50 service calls, they sold 5 indoor air quality leads. So that's 10% closing rate of all their jobs. And out of all the jobs that they have, let's say that they are at looks like 25,000 would be average ticket of 500. And here you'd be able to put callbacks in there. And that is all an expectation or KPI in there as well for the service technicians. So this is kind of the basic setup and how you would use this report to be able to track your key performance indicators in every department. You can add in multiple departments. You can add in different companies, and you can make different categories if you want. But this would be a good start on how to be able to use that. And if you have any questions, you can just give us a call anytime, and we will help you set up a company, department, or category, or users for that matter. So thanks for checking in.